5 things that get harder when trading finally works. And today we're going to talk about this because most people think profitability is the finish line, and it's not. It's the start of a harder game. And I think most trading educators, even traders in itself in the first couple of years, chasing that state of, oh, I'm going to be profitable and then everything is going to be easy. Well, if you are being making consistent money for a long period of time, and let's say it's significant, then you will realize these 5 things. I trade for 6 years. If you haven't figured, or you come here to my channel my first time, multiple six figures in profit payouts, all verified. Biggest one is $117,000 from FTMO alone. And there's more on my social media, but yeah, today we're going to talk about, and this channel in general is talking about the raw truths, the things which, it's not really all about the strategies, about mindset, identity, psychology, emotions, and that's what I stand for and talk about. So whether you are just beginning or you're an intermediate trader for many years or anything in between, that should be for you. And yeah, we're going into this because it doesn't get easier when it starts working. Actually, it gets heavier. Nobody talks about this part. And I had to go through many years to understand this myself. Because see what happens. Before the payouts, you're just trying to make it. Or if you don't use prop firms before making actual money, where you feel like, hey, that is maybe replacing my job, or it is just a good bonus to my income already. In that state, you're just trying to make it, right? But look what happens after the payouts, after making that money. Now it switches the energy of you're trying to make it to you're trying not to lose it. And just maybe imagine yourself these two scenarios. In one camp, you are just trying to make it, you're hungry, you're losing, losing is normal. And the other camp is you're making a lot of wins, and then when you lose, it hits harder, right? So just by imagining, you could probably see the weight shift, right? It's still weight, it's still pressure, but different, right? And there is a different psychology nobody wants you really. And trap number one is now you have something to protect. When you are trying to make it, losing used to feel completely normal, right? You're used to it, right? Nothing new. You still have that hope. You still see other people trading, making money. But now you have a funnel account. You can get real payouts, real progress. And now every trade carries that weight on. And you feel like you need to perform. You have that added pressure. You're not trying just to beat the market. Now you're trying to beat your own psychology, your own flaws, your own limiting beliefs. What happens? Usually you cut winners early. Sometimes you hesitate on clean setups, or you second guess your decisions. Setups you would have taken in 2 seconds like this because everything is aligned 6 months ago, same strategy. You now second guess, you hesitate. And the first thing to do is being aware where does pressure come from? Where does and why does it? I remember one of my biggest payouts in the beginning. I like my first payout was $340 or something, $343 or something. And in that same year, 6 months later, I was getting 6K payouts. I was feeling at the top of the world, making money, traveling around Europe. Every 14 days, I would get a big paycheck on top of my income, which I already had. I had still always, a 9 to 5. And then there came a period where I could not fucking do it anymore. And how did I went into this? It's always the same story. Why did I lose the funded accounts in the first place, and why didn't I couldn't do it anymore? I was afraid to lose that. I finally arrived. I finally been in a profitable state where I make so much money. I can have so much freedom. I can travel, I have money, and then somehow this fear crippling up because maybe of childhood traumas. And I'm talking about, yes, I didn't have much money when I grown up. We were on government support. So this one I could really feel. So I was like, I'm not used to that money. So I'm not becoming the person, I haven't become the person really yet to keep that money. So that's why that one thing, this being afraid to lose it actually made me lose it. And then being a very heavy period of time where I couldn't get it back. And yeah, it stung with me. But the key is here, of course, not to give up, go through it, analyze, understand. And that's why I'm here right now today. I can tell you this from my own experience that instead of learning about your past, why awareness is the first thing, and then catching yourself doing these behaviors, catching yourself thinking these thoughts, then you need to navigate. It's all energy, you need to transform. Trap number two is that as soon you get success, it makes you careless. So what I mean by this is a few good months and your edge starts slipping. You are skipping checklists. Maybe your prep gets shorter. You maybe trade from just instinct, not like a real process. You see, you loosen your rules, which got you to that point, right? You've been very consistent, very because why? Because you had a process. You were very dialed in. You are focused. As soon you get there, you get complacent. You think, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. All of this, I'm this trader now. I cracked the code. Literally, a part of you thinks I figured this out now, and that is the downfall. If you catch yourself in that behavior, in that thought, in that feeling, in that state, you literally need to go back to the basics. And in this video, this will be one big lesson that everything we talk about are behaviors. We need to catch ourselves into that. We need to be aware where they come from. And then as more you are aware of it, you are recognizing yourself in that pattern in the moment. And that is the most important thing. In that moment, you need to change to get a different result than before. But most traders, they don't give it back in one big mistake. They give it back in small standards, slipping. And that starts with that feeling careless, feeling I don't need to do this, feeling from instinct, I don't care about my process anymore. So be aware of this because this is literally where small things change. You might not realize it, but these small things are slipping away your profits, your account. And then there's literally that compounds where there maybe a big day comes and you blow your whole account. Happened to me many times. Not gonna judge anybody. It's just the truth, which is hard to hear sometimes. So know that the confidence grows faster than the skill. Your account grows, you maybe size up, your expectation grow, but your psychology doesn't scale overnight, right? You still need to adopt and become the person. That's why it's not a fast game in trading. You need to slowly get to used to that number, used to that size, used to the account, to then become the person who can handle it. It's not gonna be I'm gonna trade today $100 a trade and then now I made like 3-4 wins in a row. Now I can size up to 500 or 1,000. It makes no sense. You will fucking ruin yourself. So when the losing weeks come, and they always come, trust me, then it's a real test because then it's harder than it used to because you used to winning. Now you're getting these losing periods which always come. Every strategy, you get a drawdown, but now you have a completely different emotional reaction because you hired your standard, let's say, your baseline of what you expect to do in a week is up here. So whenever it doesn't meet it anymore, you think every week, every profitable month you can replicate in the beginning. But you need to understand all probabilities. There's months where you're very green, there's months where you're slight green, there are months where you maybe a slight red or a medium red. You don't want to be a big red, right? You want to avoid that. But if you can avoid this and you go more into this green and slightly green and maybe break even, that's fine. As more you come out of the year profitable. So understand that the skill ladder and the psychology ladder doesn't move at the same speed. Your skill raises, and then the psychology still lags. It still needs time to adapt, right? You can have a good skill and you can, your technicals, your analysis, and whatever, it's quite good. You learn this fast, but then the psychology on the number and about yourself, the emotional control needs time. That's why nobody is consistently profitable in 6 months. It takes time because it's about the trader. But yeah, the biggest trap is that the boring stops feeling important, right? That what you got there is the boring, repetitive process, the routine that built your consistency. If they feel or start to feel optional, you might skip and extend your trading window. You start to stay at the charts longer. You bend some rules slightly. Maybe you hunt for extra trades after good ones because now you think you have that skill. That's why the discipline of you focusing on one thing is starting to slip and disappear. And that is where the mistakes happen, right? The mistakes, the uncalculated stuff which you're not used to. And then you have to, again, you're going to be react emotionally different because you've never been in this position where, oh, you took a trade, you used to win on them, you used to close the charts, now you take another two trades, and now you're like in this rush emotion which you haven't dealt with before. Maybe you have dealt with before, but you don't have a solution for that. And that is really where it goes downhill. You're putting yourself always in these new positions rather than staying in one position, master it. When it's like, okay, I trade for 9:30 to 11, one trade. Yeah, you kind of know the repetitive stuff. Either win, either I don't trade, break even, or loss. A couple of options. But if I then add variables to, okay, maybe I stay a bit longer, I trade maybe 212, another added variable, different situation, creates a completely different field. You might react completely different. Then maybe I take two or three trades instead of one trade. All of this, if you're putting yourself always in these new positions and new circumstances, that's where then your flight of fight mode starts to be here in your head, and you don't know how to react. Then you're acting out of survival because you might have occurred a loss, and then wow, what happens? You need to make it back because that was kind of like outside of your rules, so you need to repair or you need to make up for it because you feel guilty not following your actual process. Trap number five. Trap number five, the last five, I talked about four things now. The fifth one is that people start watching. If people start watching, if you share a payout, if you post a win, if you tell people trading is finally working, you're inviting an audience. You're inviting people into your life, into your trading. Now, every session you trade, even though nobody's around you, you have these eyes on you. You have these people on you. You need to prove yourself too that trading is real thing. You can do it. It's ego. You get questions, you have expectations on your shoulders, you feel that pressure. And if you feel like you need to perform, if trading gets harder when it feels like you need to have a performance, not just for yourself, but you need to perform. People are watching outside. Same as if you go into a football stadium, the 22 players on the field, they feel that pressure. Why? Because hundreds of thousands of people are watching. They know they can't hide. Cameras everywhere, people watching everywhere, TV, you know what I'm saying? So I summarize it for you. Trap number one, you have something to protect, right? You're finally there, you make money, and now you have something to protect. That shifts the energy. Trap number two, success. As soon you get there and you're like, oh, I'm arrived, makes you careless. You skip your trading, you skip your process, you become complacent, you think you crack the code. Downhill afterwards if you're there. Trap 3, that your confidence grows faster than your skill, right? So you might have seen your skill rise, but now you think your psychology is here, but it's actually down here. It needs more time to catch up with your skill. So don't think bigger than you actually are. Don't think I can make more money now. You only think about the profits. You never think about the drawdown. You think, the confidence just grows over your head. That's the greed. If you in any way find yourself into that, break from. Be aware and try the best to remove yourself, take off from the charts, reflect, write it down. Literally, that's what you need to do to learn more about yourself. Why do I feel these impulses? You can have these impulses, everybody will have them. At any stage, after 6 years, I can have these, and I will have them. I'm not gonna hide away from them. I have impulses, I have greed, I have fear. That's normal. We're humans, we have emotions. But you can still have them and not act upon it. The beginner trader acts upon it. Trap number 4 is the boring stops feeling important. The consistency which got you there, well, you feel no need to follow it anymore. The routines, you add variables, you stay longer on the charts, you maybe bend the rule here and there, you hunt for extra trades. All these disciplines getting disappeared. If you ever feel that way, if you ever trying to add an asset to your watch list to just trade a bit more, to extend your time period of your trading window, if you add another extra trade, but we said you only trade once or twice a day, that is the moment where you need to catch yourself and remove yourself, write it down, think about it, reflect, go for a walk. Simple. And trap number 5, keep it private. Assume people start watching the 22 football players who are playing right now in the World Cup. What kind of pressure do they have? They play for their nation. They play in front of the world, in stadiums, hundreds of thousands of people who paid money to watch them. All the family watch, all the nation watches, everybody watches. They have that spotlight. If you want that spotlight while you trade and making decisions on your money, and you're inviting other people who have nothing to do with your money, who will not benefit from your money, who you don't even care about, what does it do to you? Raises questions, raises expectations, builds up pressure. You think you're gonna be better performing like that? So, these are the 5 things you should work on. Any stage, 0 years in to 10 years in. This applies to everybody. That is not about a strategy, it's about yourself. It's about the approach. And that's what I'm gonna work with traders one-to-one, right? I'm a mentor, I'm a trading mentor for working professionals, business owners, people who want to create another income engine. And if they are in 9 to 5, for example, and they want to leave their job and they realize that one day that this is optional, my job, my 9 to 5 is optional, I don't need this. This is what I'm mentoring people to, because I've done it and I'm helping currently people to do the same. If you're feeling like you are ideal customer for me is somebody from the West who's not gambling, who has a stable income, who has savings, or somebody who has a business, right? Who knows that creating more income streams is always beneficial, because one business doesn't mean it goes forever. So if you're one of these people, then check out my Walk With Me link, the first link in the description, and book a call with me. And we're gonna talk if we are fit for walking to each other. And that's all I wanted to say for today. I hope this made sense. Please give me feedback in the comments. How did it resonate with you? Why did it resonate with you today? And I'd like to hear your feedback so I can create more future videos like that. And I hope it was valuable to you. I wish you good luck and good trading. Until I talk to you next time. Peace.